but now you're really involved in the offense so much more. Just have you started to integrate any subtle changes, or are you just kind of keeping things the way they were right now?
For the most part, it's keeping it the way it was and really just trying to get back to the nuts and bolts and the basics. And, Coach Streeter came in, right before the bowl, and so he had a crash course on what the offense was all about. But, this spring and the couple weeks prior to the start of practice, we really just went back and went play by play, detail by detail to get him on the same page. Obviously, he's coaching the quarterbacks, which is a pivotal position on the football team, and there's a lot of detail that's involved in that position. So just focusing mostly on the basics.
What is the biggest challenge for the offense this spring? What do you guys really need to work on the most?
Well, obviously you got young quarterbacks that should be in high school, but yet they chose to come in early, and it's going to be beneficial for them in the long run. But just trying to get those guys up to speed and keep everything as back to the basics as possible to give them an opportunity to learn the system. And then you're going against just a bunch of talent on defense. So every day you got to come out and you got to compete. But that's going to make us better in the long run.
As far as your position group, what have you seen out of Zach Brooks now that he is finally healthy again?
He's pushing. So you're starting to see a lot of the same flashes that you saw going into the season there. We got hurt right before, I think a couple of days before we broke camp. So you're seeing a lot of those flashes. And Wayne's, continuing to push to get better. He's still hungry. He knows he has a lot to prove. He knows there's a lot of competition behind him. Tyshawn is now healthy. So you're starting to see the things that everybody was expecting to see coming out of high school, just the big back that's explosive, great out of the backfield. So big thing for him was just having an opportunity to get healthy. So you're seeing that. And then, CJ Fuller, he's really impressed these first couple of days of practice. Just his natural vision, ability to cut in the hole, and just the toughness that he runs with.
Coach Sweeney was bragging on him too the other day. What is it? Is he taking the next step? And what is it you're seeing besides those things? I mean, that's really kind of got him being noticed like this.
But we knew, for a long time, CJ is a local product that I've had a chance to work with in camp, and you saw it from a young age that he was just a natural back, great explosion. And what you're starting to see is he's carrying that same explosion and elusiveness with the size that he's put on. He's gained a few pounds since he came in. He's really starting to transform his body. So you're just starting to see, the total package come together for him because he's getting an opportunity to compete. He's in meetings every day, so he's learning the system. And then once you get him pointed in the right direction, he lets his ability take over.
How much of a learning experience is this spring for you and Jeff and working together and getting that chemistry between you two?
Oh, of course, it's very, very, very important, not just for me and Jeff, but for the entire staff. Because like I said before, it's the Clemson offense. It's not Coach Elliott, it's not Coach Scott's offense, it's everybody. Just like in the bowl game, I needed those guys down on the sideline to help me, up in the box. And so it's big for all of us to just build that cohesion, to make sure that we're all on the same page. Just, like I told the guys after practice, offensive football is all 11. In order to execute, everybody has to be on the same page. And it's the same thing for our coaching staff. We all got to be on the same page, complement each other well so we can put the young men in a position to be successful.
And you feel like that's going well?
I think it's going well. And again, everybody has a voice. Everybody has an opinion. We work through everything. Like I said, there's no egos involved because, again, at the end of the day, the objective is to put the young men in the best position to be successful. That's our job as a coach.
So Guy is back to August 2013 form?
He's getting there.
Yeah.
He's getting there. And again, a year and a half off. He's starting to really get his wind back. He's starting to really get his body back into playing shape. But you're starting to see those flashes of explosiveness, that you saw back in August that had everybody excited prior to his injuries.
Obviously, we're only a week into practice, but we've heard great things from Nick Schuessler. Has he shown that he can run this offense in Deshaun's absence?
Oh yeah, he's taking advantage of his opportunity. The thing with him, we've always known that he was capable. It was just being given an opportunity and then maximizing his chance. And what you're seeing is he's starting to take that leadership role, very serious. He's making the guys around him better. He's preparing with purpose. And you're starting to see that translate in his performance in practice.
Is it just too early right now to try to piece together the running back depth chart and just kind of let the guys feel their way out? Or?
Right. I think it's a little bit too early. I've always been a guy that I don't put expectations on those guys because I want them to go compete. I want to be objective when I look at them and evaluate them for where they're at. And so just to say the pecking order right now, I think it's too early. We just had our first scrimmage, first live contact, so we'll have a chance to get back and watch the film and evaluate those guys. But I know that they're competing. There's a lot of talent, and the guy that runs out there first, he knows, and they all know what the expectation of that guy is going to be.
Is there such a thing as having too many running backs?
No, could never have too many running backs, and you're starting to see that throughout college football with the pace at which we play. 80 snaps a game. That's tough for one guy to play all those snaps over the course of an entire season. And then you start talking about the number of carries, so you got to have more than one guy, and they play a violent position. Everyone sees them when they get tackled, but there's a lot of time they take hits in pass protection. When they're faking, they get tackled. So those guys have a lot of wear and tear on their body. So you got to have, several guys, that can get in there and fill the void.
And it's a position where guys really want the ball, but
Right.
Are they accepting that now? They're knowing that that's the way things are.
Right, yeah, they're all accepting it. And the great thing about the running back room here is they're all unselfish guys, and they all pull for each other, but they know they got to compete. It's only one football. And they all believe that if they work hard, that their opportunity is going to come. And once they get their opportunity, it's up to them to maximize that opportunity. But no, we got a group of unselfish guys. They all push each other. They all root for each other. And they all know that they're one snap away from being that guy.
The tight end spot didn't have the production last season that Clemson's used to. What have you seen out of those guys so far this spring?
Well, Jordan Leggett, we've always challenged him to elevate his level of play, and that's what you've seen out of him. He's just been a workman this spring. Been really quiet, not saying a whole lot, but he's just going to work every day, and you're starting to see that production is coming back. And then the young tight ends are very, very talented. Just that position in our offense is very difficult to play because you make everything go. You're the extra blocker in the run game, then you're the fourth receiver in the passing game. So you have to know pass protections, you have to know pass concepts, and then you got to you're involved in all the run blocking schemes. So you got to know all of that information. So for those guys, it's probably the biggest transition. But you're seeing flashes of the potential that the young tight ends have, and Jordan, he's pushing to make that next step because he's a very talented young man that has an unbelievable upside if he'll just commit to being his best. And I think that the light is starting to come on for him.
When you've got true freshman quarterbacks so close to the top of the depth chart, is that a good thing because they're getting a lot of chances, or is it a bad thing because they're kind of getting thrown at them at 90 miles an hour?
Well, it just depends on how you look at it. I'm going to take it from the perspective that it's a good thing, just because they're getting experience. Because obviously you're not going to carry, at most 5 quarterbacks on your depth chart, and that's another position kind of like the running back. You're playing in a spread offense that involves a zone read where the quarterback, has to pull the ball and run it. You run the risk of that guy taking a shot, and you got to have the next guy ready to roll to keep the offense going. So it's a good thing for those guys that they're getting in and getting that experience. And then obviously for Deshaun, it's a big spring for him too, and taking the mental reps. And he's done a really, really good job of being engaged in practice. Taking those mental reps every after he finishes his rehab, he's out there in the middle of the field and he's taking mental reps. He's calling the protections. He's telling the quarterbacks if they miss a read where they need to go with the ball. So that's big for him too.
Those young quarterbacks, how you